The distress beacon pierced through the void of space like a dying scream. Captain Elena Martinez sat frozen in her command chair aboard the cargo vessel Perseverance, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display that flickered before her. The signal originated from a damaged Veltharian escape pod, barely functional, life support failing, and drifting perilously close to the gravitational pull of a collapsing neutron star. "Captain, we're picking up multiple signatures in the area," her navigator, James Chen, reported, his fingers dancing across the console. "Looks like 7 different vessels, all within range to assist." Elena leaned forward. "Hail them. See who's responding to the distress call." What came next made her blood run cold. One by one, the ships responded. The Croatian dreadnought Fang of Justice acknowledged the signal but cited diplomatic complications with the Veltharian people. The Zenthi medical frigate Healer's Promise claimed their equipment wasn't compatible with Veltharian biology, a blatant lie that everyone knew. The massive Teluvian mining operation nearby simply stated that deviation from their route would cost too much in fuel and credits. Even the Veltharian military cruiser, their own people, refused. "They are marked as outcasts," came the cold response. "We cannot risk our standing in the Galactic Council for the Kaivar family." Elena's jaw tightened. The Kivar family, she knew that name. Political dissidents who had spoken against their government's corruption, now abandoned by everyone, even their own species. "Ma'am, that pod has maybe 40 minutes of oxygen left," Chen said quietly, "and the gravitational forces. They've got less than an hour before they're torn apart." The comm officer, a young woman named Sarah Torres, turned in her seat. "Captain, I'm reading 4 life signs in that pod. 2 adults, 2 juveniles. The smaller ones. They're children, ma'am." Elena closed her eyes for just a moment. The Perseverance was a human cargo ship, barely armed, carrying medical supplies to a colony world. They weren't a military vessel. They weren't heroes. They were just trying to make an honest living in a galaxy that often seemed to have forgotten what honor meant. But they were human. "Chen, plot an intercept course," Elena said, her voice steady as steel. "Torres, send a message to all those ships. Tell them the humans are responding." "Captain," her first officer, Marcus Webb, stepped forward, concern etched on his weathered face. "That neutron star's gravity well is nasty. We go in there, we might not come back out." "And the Council?" "The Council," Elena interrupted, standing from her chair, "can go to hell. There are children dying out there, Marcus. Children. I don't care what species they are or what political games their parents played. We don't leave people to die when we can save them." Marcus held her gaze for a long moment, then a slow smile spread across his face. "Aye, Captain. Let's go get them." The Perseverance banked hard, its engines flaring bright against the cosmic darkness. The other ships watched in what Elena imagined was stunned silence as the small human vessel dove toward the very danger they all had fled from. "Gravitational forces increasing," Chen called out, his hands steady on the controls despite the ship beginning to shudder. "Compensating. Life support at critical in the target pod," Torres announced. "They know we're coming. They're... Captain, I'm getting audio. They're praying." Elena gripped the armrest of her chair as the ship bucked and groaned. Through the view screen she could see the escape pod now, a tiny, battered sphere spiraling slowly toward oblivion. Beyond it, the neutron star pulsed with terrifying beauty, a cosmic predator waiting to devour anything that came too close. "Matching velocity," Chen said through gritted teeth. "Marcus, ready the grappling system." "Already on it," Marcus replied, his fingers flying across his console. 20 seconds to range. The ship's hull screamed in protest as they pushed deeper into the gravity well. Alarms blared. Systems redlined. Every instinct told them to pull back, to save themselves. But humans had never been very good at listening to instinct when someone needed help. "Firing grapples," Marcus shouted. The magnetic tethers shot out, 2 of them finding purchase on the pod's damaged hull. The sudden connection sent a violent jolt through both vessels. "Got them," Torres yelled. "Reeling in." "Chen, get us out of here now," Elena ordered. The engineer pushed the engines beyond their recommended limits. The Perseverance fought against the neutron star's pull, every bolt and weld tested to its absolute breaking point. For a terrifying moment it seemed like they wouldn't make it, like they'd all be pulled into that stellar graveyard together. Then, Inch by agonizing inch, they began to climb out of the gravity well. When they finally broke free, emerging back into normal space, the entire bridge erupted in cheers. Elena sagged in her chair, her heart hammering in her chest. "Bring them aboard," she said quietly. "Get them to medical." An hour later, Elena stood in the medical bay, watching through the window as the Kivar family huddled together on the examination beds. The parents, tall, crystalline beings with skin that refracted light like living prisms, held their 2 children close. The younglings' bioluminescent patterns pulsed with the warm colors of relief and gratitude. The father, Kivor, approached Elena with careful dignity. When he spoke, his voice resonated like wind chimes. "Captain Martinez, we heard the transmissions. We know that 7 ships refused us. We know that even our own people left us to die." He paused, his multifaceted eyes glistening. "Why did you come?" "You risked everything for strangers." Elena met his gaze steadily. "On Earth, we have an old saying, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. Maybe that makes us foolish by galactic standards. Maybe it makes us reckless." She smiled softly. "But we're human. When someone needs help, we help. It's just what we do." Kivor's wife Solara joined them, her hand resting gently on Elena's shoulder, a gesture of profound respect in Veltharian culture. "The galaxy speaks of humans as young and naive, as a species that doesn't understand the complexity of galactic politics." Her voice carried a note of wonder. "But perhaps it is the galaxy that doesn't understand. Perhaps we have forgotten something that humans still remember." "What's that?" Elena asked. "That before politics, before credits, before empires and councils and all the machinery of civilization, we are alive. And life, any life, is worth saving." As Elena watched the Kivar family embrace, she thought about all those ships that had turned away, about all the reasons, logical, practical, politically sound reasons, they had given for letting this family die, and she thought about the simple choice her crew had made without hesitation. Maybe that was humanity's real strength. Not their technology, not their military might, not their economic power, but their stubborn, irrational, beautiful refusal to calculate the cost of doing what was right. In a galaxy that had grown cold with complexity, humans still burned with something ancient and pure, compassion that asked nothing in return. The distress beacon had gone silent. But across the stars, the news of what the humans had done began to spread, and somewhere in the hearts of those who heard it, a question began to form. What kind of species risks everything for strangers? The answer, whispered in 1,000 languages across 100 worlds, was always the same: human.